Hey there, Heather Boyd Wire here. Welcome to day 5 of the 10-day beginner wire weaving challenge. I'm calling this a beginner wire weaving challenge because I am actually quite new to wire weaving. I look forward to hearing other tips and tricks along the way from other jewelry makers. I truly believe when we teach, we learn, and I'm so excited about this wire weaving learning journey.
Today I'm making a wire woven bell-shaped pendant. I am using 20 gauge artistic wire and 24 or 26 gauge artistic wire for the weaving and 6mm glass faceted beads. I'm using the Glimmer Series nipper tool from Beadalon, their nylon jaw pliers, and their slimline round nose and chain nose pliers. We're going to start with about 5 inches of the 20 gauge artistic wire, and we'll be weaving with 24 or 26 gauge artistic wire. So we will start by coiling the wire around the base wire a few times. Just keep winding it around because we want to form a bit of a coil to start out. You can press the coils together with some chain nose pliers to make them more even. And then we are going to add another piece of the 20 gauge wire. So we're just going to put that wire above, and then we're going to weave it in place. So bring the wire in between the two base wires to do a full turn around. Go in between again, and then bring it below. So it's like a figure 8. And we're going to just continue weaving to attach the two wires together. Bring it through and around and through and around the bottom and around to hold it in place, and bring it through again and up over the top wire, pushing the wire in so the coil is even, and bring it through again and then up from the bottom and wind it around a couple of times, the bottom one. Push it right in there, and you can squeeze the coils together as you need. Now we're going to add another piece of 5-inch wire, and we're going to bring the wire around the top base wire a couple of times, and then we're going to bring it through, and we're going to work our way down to attach all 3 wires together. So down and around a couple of times, and then around the bottom wire. Bring it down and around to hold it in place. And here's the pattern. I will put this in the Facebook group, and it will be in the template book so you can follow the pattern. And we're going to keep going along to weave those 3 wires together. And you can make these as large as you want. So you can keep going to make a longer weave if you want a larger pendant. And basically we're just winding the wire around each wire a couple of times. It's a basic weave, there's nothing too fancy. You can do any kind of weaving style that you want. The idea is to be able to attach the 3 wires together so they're nice and firmly in place. Sometimes you have to separate the wires a little bit to get the weaving wire in. And we're going to keep working our way along. So now we're going to just bend one of the wires a little bit to form a loop. So using our round pliers, we're going to form a little loop and just make sure it's straight, and that loop will be the loop that we dangle our bead off of. So now we want to keep winding the whole thing together after we've done that loop. Bringing the wire up towards the top, and then we're going to bend another wire straight up, and that will form the loop that we dangle the pendant on. So I'm just weaving to the other side of that loop. You'll be able to see this better in the photograph and in the template. So I'm just securing the weaving wire on the other side of that vertical wire. So now I'm just continuing the weave on the right side of where that loop is going to be. So once you've done enough weaving, we are going to clip off the end of the thinner wire. And we'll do the same on the other side. And then we can press it in with the nylon jaw pliers. So here is how it looks. And then we can go ahead and curve around those woven wires to make a kind of a bell shape. So we're just going to curve it around towards the bottom. So all those extra wires are straight down. And now we could form the loop at the top. We want it to be centered, and then clip the end with the nipper tool and pinch in that little pokey end so it's flat, and just adjust it so those loops are flat. And then we can trim the wires. Could be about 1 inch long. It depends on how big you want your spirals to be. So you can clip it at about 1 inch. Make some longer than the others to make it more interesting. And you'll see there's going to be 2 spirals on one side and 3 spirals on the other. So now we're just forming our spirals with the round pliers. Just bring them around. Take your time with the spirals. And then use the nylon jaw pliers to bring the spirals in a little bit more to flatten them out. And then just go around and make spirals with all of those wires. So starting them with the round nose pliers, going in with the nylon jaw pliers, and bringing them up. So once all your spirals are done, we're just going to flatten them with the nylon jaw pliers and then bring it in a little bit at the bottom to make it more curved, and it looks more like a bell. So now we want to make a little head pin with a scrap of 20 gauge artistic wire We'll make a little loop, center that loop, and we're going to add a 6mm faceted bead. You can also just use a head pin for this. Clip it to about 3/8 to 1/2 inch. Make a centered loop above the bead, bring it around, and then we're going to attach it to the loop in the pendant. So just hook it in there and take your chain nose pliers, push in the little pokey end there, give it a pinch, and you can do any little adjustments you need. You might have to widen it a bit to fit the bead in there. You can just do that by hand. And there's your beautiful woven bell-shaped pendant.
Be sure to join the private Facebook group to participate in the challenge and to check out other viewers' creations. At the end of the challenge, I'll be putting together an ebook which will be available after the challenge is over. Check out all the details in the description below the video. Good luck everybody and have fun with the projects.